Welcome to the Monday, March 4th, 2024 session of the Lake Forest City Council. Will the city clerk please call the roll?
Certainly. Honorable Mayor Tack.
Here.
Alderman Novit.
Here.
Alderman Waldeck.
Present.
Alderman Notes.
Here.
Alderman Powers is absent. Alderman Preschlack.
Here.
Alderman Gushgarian.
Here.
Alderman Weber.
Here.
Alderman Walther.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Excellent. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First item on the agenda is a resolution of appreciation for retiring Battalion Chief Corey Casimore. I will read the motion. Whereas Corey A. Casimore has been a dedicated employee of the City of Lake Forest since January 3rd, 2005. And whereas Corey Casimore will honorably retire from the city on February 22nd, 2024. And whereas Corey A. Casimore served in the following positions during his dedicated career: firefighter, paramedic, fire inspector, lieutenant, battalion chief, member of the Lake County and McHenry County side scan sonar team, president of the local 1898 IAFF union, Foreign Fire Insurance Board, and a passionate member of the department's public education programs. In addition, Corey A. Casimore received several fire service certifications, including Chief Fire Officer. Corey also received numerous accommodations and letters of gratitude for outstanding service throughout his career. Whereas Corey A. Casimore was dedicated to moving the Lake Forest Fire Department forward with the implementation of numerous new response and records management platforms that have had a great impact on all department operations. Corey was a problem solver and often assisted neighboring departments throughout Lake County with his unique skill set, sharing lessons learned at Lake Forest to help everyone improve. Corey's talents will be missed, but improvements and advancements that he was responsible for will continue to serve the Lake Forest Fire Department and the city for years to come. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Lake Forest that the Council, on behalf of the administration and residents of the community, hereby expresses its appreciation and gratitude to Corey A. Casimore for a public service faithfully performed, and be it further resolved that this resolution be appropriately inscribed and conveyed to Corey, with a copy to be included in the official minutes of the March 4th, 2024 meeting of the Lake Forest City Council. Can I have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carries. Should we present this now? Okay.
I'll keep it short. It was an honor serving this community. And I'm very thankful and proud. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is a resolution of appreciation for retiring Battalion Chief Matthew H. Pinar. Whereas Matthew H. Pinar has been a dedicated employee of the City of Lake Forest since May 15, 1997, and whereas Matthew H. Pinar will honorably retire from the city on March 3rd, 2024, and whereas Matthew H. Pinar served in the following positions during his dedicated career: firefighter paramedic, lieutenant, battalion chief, department medical officer, member of the Lake and McHenry County dive team, Foreign Fire Insurance Board, and a passionate member of the department's public education programs. In addition, Matthew H. Pinar received several fire service certifications, including Chief Fire Officer. Matt also received numerous accommodations and letters of gratitude for outstanding service throughout his career. Whereas Matthew H. Pinar dedicated his career to improving the skills and services of our paramedics, Matt was a key player in designing the form and function of new ambulances and setting up our fire apparatus to deliver advanced medical care. Matt always had a passion for medical training, and he was instrumental in advancing care and technologies used to benefit all patients receiving care from Lake Forest paramedics. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of Lake Forest that the Council, on behalf of the administration and residents of the community, hereby expresses its appreciation and gratitude to Matthew H. Pinar for a public service faithfully performed, and be it further resolved that this resolution be appropriately inscribed and conveyed to Matt, with a copy to be included in the minutes of the March 4th, 2024 meeting of the Lake Forest City Council. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations.
I gave a little windy speech this morning, but I practiced it so I wouldn't get teary, and this one I'm not as prepared for. It's been an honor and my privilege to serve this community for nearly 27 years. I appreciate everything about the organization, and thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. If anybody would like to leave at this time, you're certainly welcome to stay for the remainder of the meeting, but not required.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Pretty much. All right, very good. The next item on the agenda is comments by mayor, and I have a comment or a statement. Public safety is important to Lake Forest residents, affirmed by 95% of community-wide survey respondents, ranking overall safety as a very important factor when choosing to live in Lake Forest. The Lake Forest Police Department currently operates out of the Public Safety Building on Deer Path, which was constructed in the 1960s as a combined facility for the police and fire departments. As we look to the future, the current building is not adequate to meet the space needs of both departments. With the results of the community survey in hand and understanding the limitations of the existing public safety building, I identified this issue at the City Council's budget workshop last November. We as a council, and together with the larger community, need to begin to think through how to provide the facilities necessary to support our police department and make planning for a new police station a priority. As law enforcement has changed over the years, the city has taken creative measures to adopt and renovate the space to meet the police department's evolving needs. Upon closer examination, it's become clear that in order to maintain the highest level of public safety services, the police department needs a new police facility designed to accommodate modern police practices, technology, training, and equipment. While the city has been aware of the need for a new police station for years, other community needs were prioritized in recent years, such as addressing storm sewer upgrades, improving athletic fields at Deer Path Community Park, and stabilizing the bluff above the beach. There are inherent challenges with this type of project, which include identifying available land or a building that could be adapted to this use. Additionally, it's important to ensure that this project is done in a fiscally responsible manner, and once completed will serve the community long into the future. Unique market conditions make it financially advantageous to begin discussions about a new police station facility now instead of in the future, particularly in light of the importance of public safety as expressed in the community survey. As we begin to explore opportunities for a new police station, we want to make the community aware of this work. We will share more information as the process moves forward. Lake Forest needs a police station the Lake Forest community can be proud of, and that positions our police department to best serve our residents now and into the future. At this time, Jason, comments by City Manager.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor and members of City Council. Good evening. I have just one item for this evening. I've asked our City Clerk, Biddy Boyer, to provide an update to the community regarding voting information with the March 19th primary election coming in just a few weeks, and in light of the county changing some of the polling locations here in town. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Biddy.
So I could talk about elections for hours, but Jason has asked me to keep it brief, and so I will. As you can see, early voting started here today, and it's one of the first of two election seasons that we'll experience here at City Hall. This first one being the general primary election, which is for Tuesday, March 19th, and then the second will be the last 2 weeks in October with the general election, November 5. Like I said, early voting started here today. It goes Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturdays 9 to 2, and closed on Saturdays. There is an official ballot drop box provided by the county during early voting hours for you to drop your vote by mail ballots into, or you can just place them in the U.S. mail. Really importantly, a number of Lake Forest registered voters received correspondence from the Lake County Clerk, Anthony Vega, letting you know that your election day site has changed. And what that is from is they actually did a tremendous amount of work consolidating 108 election day polling sites down to 91. And so that's why there's been a change, which brings me to my last comment of City Hall does not serve as a polling site on election day. If you'd like to check your polling location for election day, you can actually log on to lakevoterpower.info, or you can contact the Lake County Clerk's office at 377-2410. This information can be found on the city's website under recent stories and on the clerk's page. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to talk about elections all day if you want.
Are there any questions for Biddy?
No. Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is opportunity for citizens to address the City Council. Are there any citizens present who would like to address the council? Okay, seeing none, we move on to committee reports, of which there are none this evening. The next item is items for omnibus vote consideration. I'm going to read each of the items. If there are any items that the alderman would like removed or taken separately, please notify me. Number one, approval of the February 20th, 2024 City Council meeting minutes. Number two, approval of the check register for the period of January 27th through February 23rd, 2024. Number three, approval of a 2-year contract extension with Lake Forest Bank and Trust for banking services to June 30th, 2026. Number four, approval of design engineering services for the Safe Routes to School project to Gewalt Hamilton Associates, and authorize the city manager to execute an agreement in the amount of $42,276 to include a contingency in the amount of $2,724 for a total cost of Number 5, consideration of a recommendation from the Plan Commission in support of a plat of condominium for a building under construction at 715/719 McKinley Road. Approval by motion. Item 6, consideration of a recommendation from the Plan Commission in support of tentative and final plat approval of the Eisler two-lot subdivision for property addressed as 195 East Unwencia Road, and approval of an ordinance granting a variance from the minimum lot size for a lot in depth. Approval by motion and waive first reading and grant final approval of an ordinance. Are there any items that the alderman would like removed or taken separately? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the 6 omnibus items as presented?
So moved. Seconded.
Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Preschlack?
Aye.
Alderman Kashkarian?
Aye.
Alderman Weber?
Aye.
Alderman Walder?
Aye.
Alderman Novit? Aye. Alderman Waldeck?
Aye.
Alderman Notes?
Aye.
7 yea, 0 nay, motion carries.
Very good, thank you. The next item is old business, of which there is none this evening. We move on to new business. Consideration of a recommendation from the Plan Commission in support of a special use permit authorizing a Starbucks with a drive-through on the southeast corner of Waukegan and Everett Roads. Waive first reading, and if desired by the council, grant final approval of the ordinance. This will be presented by Catherine Cerniak, Director of Community Development.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This is a recommendation that comes to you unanimously from the Plan Commission. It is a request for a special use permit to allow a drive-through. I'm going to spend just a few minutes reviewing the history of the site, the long history of the site, talk about the current proposal, describe the Plan Commission's recommendation, and then review the council's options for action. The property proposed for the new Starbucks is located on the southeast corner of Everett and Waukegan Road, formerly a gas station site. Quick history of this site, and I'll actually start before Pasquesi Home and Garden. This site was originally, the south portion of this site was originally an automobile service station. And I think before that, perhaps they shoot horses there. It has a long history as a service property. Pre-2008, the south portion of the property was developed with Pasquesi Home and Garden. The corner was developed with a gas station. Any of you who frequented Pasquesi on Saturdays know that it was very busy. It was hard to get in and out, and once you got in, you couldn't get out. So it always has been a very active site. Pasquesi moved to Lake Bluff down Waukegan Road, and the gas station closed. In 2008, the Pickus family, Pickus Properties, brought forward a proposal for a drugstore on the south portion of the property, a drugstore with a drive-through, and a small commercial node at the corner. That project was approved. However, given the timing of 2008, it never moved forward, and the property was lost to the bank. In about 2014, 2015, IP Properties, the local Stewart family, purchased the property and brought forward a proposal for a car wash. That generated a lot of discussion, and ultimately the council denied that request. In 2019, Mr. Iosu, then now the current owner, and he acquired it after the car wash, he brought forward a proposal for a medical office building on the south portion of the site and a coffee shop on the corner. It was really an advantage for the Iosu family to acquire the site because they also own the building at 1025 Everett Road, the existing office acute care. It's mostly known as the acute care building. That project was approved. However, there was difficulty in finding tenants for the office building, and obviously 2019 was just before we went into the pandemic. In 2023, the Iosu family brought forward a revised proposal for a multifamily residential building on the south portion of the property, retaining the coffee shop at the corner. That project was not favorably forwarded by the Plan Commission, and before it was heard by the City Council, the Iosu family notified staff that they wanted to step back, think the property through, and later they came forward, most recently, with a proposal to phase the development on this property. Today, what is in front of you, and the recommendation from the Plan Commission, is for approval of a Starbucks. And again, it is before you because of the drive-through request. A Starbucks is consistent with the zoning, and if it was just a Starbucks or another coffee shop, it wouldn't even require any Plan Commission or City Council approval. The drive-through does require your approval. The current site plan, as proposed, Everett Road, Waukegan Road, and again, this is the southeast corner, St. Patrick's Church is on the north side. This is the existing 1025 office building. This corner is proposed for development with the Starbucks, and the south portion of the property is recognized as having future development potential, but that phase of the project will be brought forward at a later date. The Iosu family is still thinking through options for that property. This property, in its current configuration, is a challenging property to develop, evidenced in part by how long it sat vacant. Because of this existing office building, the property is narrow at this end. It abuts residential townhomes to the east. It abuts residential condominiums to the south. It is obviously located as a busy intersection and very close to the at-grade railroad crossing. The property in the past has had 7 curb cuts. There were 2 onto Waukegan Road from the gas station, and I believe 2 onto Everett Road from the gas station. There is 1 onto the 1025 site, and then Pasquazy also had 2 curb cuts. IDOT will no longer allow that number of curb cuts so close to the intersection. So the access points to this site overall are consistent with what IDOT has reviewed and approved in the past. Certainly as this project moves forward, we will need to engage IDOT again, but IDOT has consistently supported these access points. The Starbucks, as I said, will be located at this corner. There will be 15 parking spaces. A number of them will be reserved for Starbucks employees. And there will be a double-stacked drive-through lane at this end as it meanders down to a single lane and your pickup window here. The drive-through lane, as configured, will stack up to 15 vehicles. So it really is sized to avoid the cars from the drive-through backing up into the parking area. The city engineer has preliminarily reviewed this plan. The Plan Commission really saw this as an opportunity to, as one Plan Commissioner expressed, finally do something with that corner. And it's an opportunity to take advantage of the fact that Starbucks currently is interested in working with the Iosu family on a lease. That may not be the case 2 or 3 or 4 years from now. This also presents the opportunity for Starbucks to generate some other ideas for the south half of the property, to let us all understand what is the level of traffic generated, how does it flow through the site, and how do we right-size the development of the right type on the south portion of the property. So the Plan Commission felt that this was an appropriate way to move forward on this site, and certainly to allow the Iosu family, Mr. Iosu is with us today, who has been very patient, but to allow them to begin to realize some benefit from this property as well. The Plan Commission, again, unanimously, in a 7-0 vote, recommended approval of the special use permit and the overall site plan. They did acknowledge that the Building Review Board would need to be involved to review the design aspects of this project, building, lighting, signage, landscaping, and in particular, the Plan Commission asked that the Building Review Board pay particular attention to the streetscape along the property that will remain vacant for the time being, so that there's some landscaping or perhaps a fence, something that that dresses that up just a little without implying that it's going to remain open as a park long into the future. That's a tricky balance there. And the Plan Commission also thought it was important to acknowledge that the south portion of the property is a developable site and is zoned for commercial use. The council, as always, has several actions. You can accept the recommendation of the Plan Commission, waive first reading, and grant final approval of the ordinance. The findings of the Plan Commission are detailed in the ordinance, and I believe the findings are on page 50 in your packet. You can remand the petition back to the Plan Commission. If you do so, I would ask that you identify specific issues that you feel have not been adequately addressed. Or third, you could reject the Plan Commission's recommendation and deny the petition. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Kathy? Alderman Weber.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I'm really excited, being a lifelong Fourth Ward resident, to see some positive action here. So that's great. I just had two quick questions. One was curiosity. Can you tell me comparable site to where the current Starbucks located at Fiore Square area? Is that roughly the same size? The reason why I ask is because I know that tends to be a frequent place for people to meet. And while I do see that there's a number of parking spaces the drive-through accommodates the quick in and out, with a primary grade center there and having current children there at St. Mary's, I can see this to be very advantageous for customers to whip through, but also as a meeting place for people in the Fourth Ward, since McDonald's is no longer there. So I was just curious if the site was around the same.
The building is about the same square footage. Obviously, some portion of this building is devoted to the drive-through, but it will have interior seating and will be able to accommodate some gatherings, certainly not very large groups, but it will still serve that same purpose for residents in the area.
Will there be spillover parking available behind acute care? Because I know that can also get very full. So people will be able to walk across. Is there, assuming there's a little path or something?
There are
through the
pedestrian
bushes?
connections
Okay.
through the east property line of the south property. The south portion of the property will be developed with parking spaces, and the acute care facility does have ongoing agreements with St. Mary's and St. Patrick's for employees to park across the street. So again, this will be an opportunity for us to really assess the parking needs of Starbucks, employees, customers, and will help inform decisions about the south portion of the property. But yes, we are confident that there is sufficient parking on the
Excellent.
site.
And then my second question and follow-up is, again, a frequenter through that neighborhood, that intersections, with the double line on Waukegan Road, it's very frequent you see people turning in the wrong way to access. Do you anticipate enforcement of that, where cars could jam up at the intersection of people turning, say, coming south and trying to turn in there? Just curious on the thought.
People always try to do things like that. There will be a pork chop in the middle. Those lanes will be angled to make that turning movement difficult. The access for southbound Waukegan will be at the south end of the site, and you'll be able to wind through. Certainly, we can monitor it and determine if additional signage
I was
is
going to say,
necessary.
as long as maybe it's
It will
the
take a
signage,
while.
because it is pork chopped at the current location.
It is.
And it's not adhered to. Great, thank you so much. We're really excited.
Thank you, Mayor. Director Cerniak, just one question on traffic flow. I was, particularly since it's common ownership between the Starbucks site and the office building, was there any consideration given to having the two be more integrated than segregated like they are?
This is probably about the 27th iteration of the plan. The city engineer has been very involved in the plan. Access for either the existing medical office building or the Starbucks can enter or exit here, can enter here for northbound, exit here for northbound, and enter here. Having a cut through here was explored early on, but it really presents challenges for the drive-through, for those parking, patients parking for the acute care. So again, this is a tricky site to begin with. So various options were looked at, and based on the work of various engineers, this really does appear to be the best solution as opposed to simply opening everything up. They are different uses. Pedestrian connections are provided both from the public walkways and between these buildings. And as this south portion of the property develops, we will also work to get additional pedestrian connections through that area.
Appreciate it. I did not doubt that the thought was given to it. I was just for my own benefit. Thank you.
Other comments or questions?
If we were to grant approval, what's the timeline? What would you be looking at?
As far as groundbreaking,
And opening?
do you want to come up? Do you want to come up, Mr. Frigo?
I'm Jack Frigo, real estate advisor to the Iosu family. We will be before the BRB in April. We hope to break ground this summer and deliver the building to Starbucks in December.
Has there been any thought given to having the employee parking over on that other vacant lot?
You want to answer that, or do you want me to?
Starbucks does require that their partners, I believe,
They're partners.
their partners, not their employees, have on-site parking available. So that was a requirement, and I believe there are 8 spaces, 6 spaces of the 15 at the north end that will be for Starbucks partners.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Good. Other comments or questions?
I have a comment. Mr. Iosu, you have the patience of Job, and I appreciate your willingness to work with the city. It's not intended to be cumbersome, but sometimes, we have a process that we like to adhere to, and at times when it seems like it's endless, I appreciate your persistence and your perseverance, so thank you.
Thank you. I recently reread.
Very good. Well, other comments or questions? Is there anybody in the public who would like to offer comments or questions on this matter? Okay, seeing none, then I would like to move to a request of the council to consider waiving first reading of the ordinance granting a special use permit and approving the site plan for Starbucks on the southeast corner of Everett and Waukegan Roads with a drive-through, and grant final approval of the ordinance. I have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Kashgarian.
Aye.
Alderman Weber.
Aye.
Alderman Waller.
Aye.
Alderman Novit. Aye. Alderman Waldeck.
Aye.
Alderman Notes.
Aye.
Alderman Preschlack.
Aye.
7 yeas, 0 nay, motion carries.
Very good. Are there any other items that the city council would like to address before we move forward? Alderman Notes.
I just want to commend our first responders, Chief Siebert, Chief Waldorf, as we communicated the other night during that storm, which was a night not fit for man or beast. Your staff were responding to a home down the street from me, and again, no one had any business being out in that storm, but your guys were there taking care of business. And I just want to tell you on behalf of the residents, thank you and all your guys and crews for everything they do.
Very good. At this time, I'll be asking for a motion to adjourn into executive session. There will be no additional business at the completion of the executive session. So may I have a motion to adjourn into executive session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2. The City Council will be discussing personnel, purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body, and disposition of property, and the consideration for the sale or lease of property owned by the public body. May I have a motion to adjourn into executive session?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Weber?
Aye.
Alderman Walder?
Aye.
Alderman Novit? Aye. Alderman Waldeck? Aye. Alderman Notes?
Aye.
Alderman Preschlack?
Aye.
Alderman Gushgarian?
Aye.
7 yea, 0 nay, motion carries.
Very good. The open session is adjourned.